Hey, what's going on everybody? It's your boy Alex here and welcome back to another video. So today we're going to be going over the Hypixel Blitz SG Blitzstar revamp and ideas proposal document that I have actually been working on for quite a while, and I think it's to the point where it's pretty much done and I can share it with you guys. So I do know that some of you guys may not like document reading videos, but I've been working on this one a while, and I was gonna put some gameplay over it, but I figured, it would be much easier for me to just, show you guys the document. That way you guys can read it for yourselves, and I actually have this posted in a Discord, and I do have the link if you guys would like to read it yourselves. But we're going to be going over some Blitzstar revamp ideas that I have personally came up with a few shoutouts to some people that gave me some ideas. I do not remember everybody that came up with every idea, so I did include some ideas, but if I don't remember who you are, I did still credit that it wasn't came up with by me, so don't worry about that. I didn't claim every idea for myself, but a lot of these ideas I came up with myself, and I'm pretty happy with some of these because, in the current state of Blitz, right now, the main meta for using the Blitzstar is getting kills. Alright? The only 4 Blitzstars that I ever see use right now, whenever I play, is Assassin, which, I fall under this category all the time. Whenever I get the Blitzstar, and everyone that's in my game and see me get the star, they pretty much are just groaning to themselves because they know that I'm going to use Assassin and just get a free kill. Alright? Like, they just know. Assassin is really good, it's pretty much a free kill. Same for Robin Hood, same for the bow players, if you're really good at a bow, you can be super incredibly stacked, and then that one guy that's really good with the bow uses Robin Hood, and you're dead. Alright? Like, that's pretty OP. So, since those 2 stars, along with Nocturne, which is used quite a bit, and I've actually used Nocturne for quite recently, a couple times, and Vault Hunter I see used quite often, although Vault Hunter is RNG, it can still be quite OP, but since those 4 stars are really, really strong, a lot of the lesser stars are never used, I guess. They're just not as strong, they're more of quirky. So I figured, why not do the crazy idea of buffing some of the underused stars, or the weaker stars, that may actually, cause them to get used, because a little bit of variety is what we need in Blitz, because everyone just falls into one meta, and I can go on to this forever, but fighting the same 3 kits over and over again in Blitz, that's not fun either. So we're just going to start with the Blitz stars. Now, you may notice that to the list on the left, I did not actually include those stars, because they're already really strong. Alright, I'm going to let the HPC do their own thing about balancing, but I came up with some of these ideas here. These are the lesser used stars because there's actually, if I remember correctly, 20 stars, and knowing that only 4 are ever used, that leaves a lot of room. So we're just going to go ahead and get started here. Hopefully this video doesn't take too terribly long. I don't have that many ideas, but I think I did quite well on some of these, so we're going to go ahead and get started here. So starting off with Lucky Charm. Alright, so the current Lucky Charm Blitzstar, when you use it, it increases a Hypixel player's experience level over time in Blitz, like to around level 45. Alright, so if you're in a game, and you're on Aelin's Tower, or Doxy 1, and you use Lucky Charm, that's the only valuable thing that you could do with Lucky Charm. Because everything else, you're pretty much going to have enchanted. Chances are you're already going to have enchanted iron chest plates from a lot of kits. You're going to have enchanted diamond gear. And you're not really going to have a lot of clean iron swords. You might get one shot and you might get absolute garbage. So I figured, as a buff, to Lucky Charm. This is never used. Like, this is, people just say LOL and stuff in chat because they know that they've wasted the star. And, you really can't kill anybody with this star. So I figured that Lucky Charm's new buff will be a high-risk, high-reward Blitzstar. So it is going to be a little bit RNG, but I figured, a little RNG could be quite interesting, especially if you get pretty lucky. So instead of giving the players continuous levels over time, this new star will just activate instantaneously because, getting one level from level 1 to level 45 takes a little bit. So here was my new proposal. So when activated, the player will receive a random tier 3 enchantment on a piece of armor or weapon that's in their hotbar. So I figured it's just like one of your weapons that's in your hotbar is given an enchantment immediately. Like you don't know what you're gonna get, and it's from armor. It could be on your sword, it could be on your bow. I'm not too sure if I should include the bow because level 30 bow enchantments are pretty busted, so we might hold off on the bow. So again, these are concepts, as I mentioned. Some of these might need, some massive balancing, but that's why it's a concept. I really want to see some variety in Blitz, and that's what we need. So the player will receive a random random, so they won't get to pick enchantment up to tier 3 on a piece of armor or weapon that's in their hotbar. This gives a massive buff as the player could receive something insane, such as sharpness or fire aspect. Well, they can get sharp fire aspect too, but they can get sharp 3, prot 3 on, their boots, but also receive something useless such as unbreaking, fire protection, bane of arthropods. Like you might get protection 3 on your Cinderella's boots, those unbreaking 10 boots. Garbage, if you just don't find any boots. You could get Bane of Arthropods 3 on your Warrior's Wood Sword. Like, you might get something, like, completely trash, but you could get, like, Protection 3 on your Creeper Tamer chestplate. Or you could get Sharp 3 on your Baker's, like, or up to. I'm not saying you're guaranteed Sharp 3. Like, you could get Sharp 1, you could get Unbreaking 2, you could get, like, the combinations are endless, so multiple chances could be added as if the piece or weapon was put into a table and will be RNG. And it's kind of similar to Vault Hunter, but I figure that this would be, just a slight buff, because, sometimes RNG can save you. I know a lot of people don't like RNG Blitz, but it can save you, and frankly, if you use Lucky Charm, no one is going to know what you have, alright? If you go Vault Hunter, if you have a diamond axe, an iron axe, a stone sword, or a wood sword, people are going to know that you probably have sharp 3 or fire aspect or some crazy knockback. Or if you have a diamond piece, it's really distinguishable what you got in Vault Hunter. So that's why that's why I think Lucky Charm could be quite well, because you're going to have no idea what your opponent will have. It's just really good. And I'm sorry for like sounding a bit tired. It's pretty late at night, as you can see down at the bottom. It's like 11:10, so I'm gonna try and rush through this as fast as I can. But I frankly think that's a pretty good Blitz star right there. I came up with that in like 2 in the morning a couple months ago, and I figured, that is where it all started off. So that's Lucky Charm. So moving on to Infection. So the current Infection is garbage. Like, it just sucks. So when you activate this star, it applies slowness and poison to players when the user hits them with their fist. And only their fist. Not with the weapon, not with the bow, and not with the rod. Only their fist. And the slowness acts for about, I believe, 4 seconds. And poison, it's poison 1, I believe, for 4 seconds. So it's 1 full heart of poison. So it's pretty garbage, So I figured that we could either... Well, I put new name Pandemic because I kind of wanted to, make it like Infection, Okay, Infection sounds kind of like a pandemic, that sounds like, ooh, something's going to happen. So Infection is so useless right now, it needs a buff. So these are my notes right here. This is kind of why I wanted you guys to be able to see what I write. That way you guys can see, just in case you may not understand. But the new Infection will provide Nausea 2 to all opponents for 15 seconds and will receive Poison 1, not just from punching. So... people will begin to feel, woozy, nausea too, because they won't be able to aim, they won't be able to see. It's like they're sick, So, and plus there's really no nausea Blitz star, so I figured, and then the poison 1, we can just keep that. But that's pretty much all it will do. All right, it won't increase their speed, it won't increase the users, like I don't know, like that's just literally all. It just gives people infection, like that's literally what it does. It makes them feel sick. So I wanted to make it Nausea 2, by the way, because Troll 10, if you guys didn't know, Troll 10 actually has a Nausea 3 potion, and I wanted to keep that special because Nausea 3 actually, it's quite hard to aim with. I got hit with the Nausea 3 potion, and you cannot aim with that. But I didn't really want to take away from that, so I figured Nausea 2 would still be, pretty good, because Nausea 2's, it's pretty hard to aim with Nausea 2. I've tested it before. So I figured that would be pretty good, because maybe it still provides people with a fair fight. If you're really good, then you might be able to counter it, but it's not like it's unfair. And plus, if, you can clean people because they won't be able to aim anymore. Like, if there's just a huge mosh pit, instead of going Nocturne, go Infection. Because, one, it will poison them, it will slow them, and they won't be able to kill each other still because they won't be able to aim. So that's kind of my Infection idea. We don't have to call it Pandemic. That's just the name that I had, but I think that's a pretty cool idea, since Infection is literally, I think, one of the worst stars. Like, I think it is the second to worst star in the entire game. Lucky Charm is probably the worst star because it doesn't do anything other than the fact that, you have to use it on those two maps. So, moving on to Acid Rain. Now, Acid Rain's kind of controversial because I believe it actually does work. So, bear with me if I say it doesn't work, but I've used it before and I swear it did not do anything. Alright, so maybe it was just me. I don't know if I was just unlucky or maybe I wasn't paying attention, but I don't think it works. I mean, some people, I've asked a couple high stat players like HPC members and all that, they said it works, so we might ignore this one because, not all ideas are bad. So, there's just weird ideas, and, sometimes if your mind gets creative, I would be down to use your Blitzstar idea, honestly. I think if it's creative, I would totally add it. I don't really care. Because, there's no such thing as a bad idea. It's more of like a creative idea. Let's just call it that. So, this was actually suggested to me by somebody. So, Acid Rain doesn't work, and it's actually quite slow. I mean, if you use Acid Rain on Winter and it actually works, like, you can actually kill people. So, if you want to try Acid Rain on Winter, be my guest. If it works, you're actually good. You can probably win the game because there's like no places to hide. But I figured, why not, melt some water? Because there is a counter on a lot of maps, is that if you stick your head underwater, Acid Rain doesn't work on that player. So divers and people on water maps can just jump in the water and it will not affect them. They won't take any damage. So I figured, why not make a Blitzstar that does the same thing, except it melts all the water. That way, people will start taking damage in the water. Now, again, it's a little weird because it's kind of OP, and, if you're on, like, Aylin's Tower, Cthulhu, Docks, you won't be able to get out. So, that's probably going to need some changing. But, again, I just wanted to include it because sometimes, ideas, they run wild. So, I'm not really going to explain this one because it's right here, but pretty much it summons heat. Again, it's programmable, guys. Heat upon all players, burning them until they find cover and will continue to take normal fire damage, which is just acid rain damage. Like, we won't actually light them on fire. So, it will melt any water on the map as it evaporates from the heat, because water, will turn into the gas. We all know science. Although unsure if too strong due to divers, because a lot of divers like to play in the water. They sit in the water the whole game. So, that's pretty much an insta-kill for them. So, again, not all ideas are good, but I personally like it. I think it's pretty creative. So as I mentioned, creative ideas, I'd be down to use. So Gremlin, this is one that was suggested by me because I actually got Gremlin I think it was like a week ago, and I actually ended up almost winning the game, but I had to run forever, okay, because there was a guy chasing me. But the current Gremlin right now clears and wipes the inventory of the player with the most kills. But it, for some reason, does not clear the armor, which I don't know if that's a bug or if that's intended. But we're just going to say it's intended and move on. Because if it works, if you have 2 kills and you scroll up in the chat and you see that dude with 7 kills, he's probably pretty stacked. So it could, actually be quite useful. But I wanted to come up with a new star. We're going to call it Intimidation. Not Intimidation, Imitation. So, essentially, this is going to be a Gremlin 2.0. So, this upgrade will not only wipe the inventory of the person with the most kills, but the armor that the opponent is wearing and the weapon, well, maybe not the weapon. Okay, as I said, we might need some balancing. But the weapon the player was using will be given to the player who used the star, essentially imitating them. So if you had a really bad game, let's say you killed a noob, or maybe 2 noobs, you got really unlucky, you couldn't find anybody for some reason, and you have 2 kills that entire game, but you see that really stacked dude that's been getting like 8 kills, and you could use Gremlin, you know? There you go. You're super incredibly stacked. You now have the same amount of gear he does, the same weapon, everything. I actually did receive a suggestion of copying the gear but not clearing the inventory, because I believe that that's a little bit more fair, because clearing the inventory and copying the gear, that's way too strong. So there are a couple like variations to this. We could either copy the gear and that's it. It won't clear their inventory. It could clear and copy, which again, very very strong, but I kind of wanted to make some sort of like imitation, because Gremlin, you don't really see Gremlin that often, but the rare times you do, it is annoying. But since it's underused, why not make it a little bit stronger? But yeah, that's my idea for it, is to, just give it a little bit stronger of a buff. Make it affect the player, make it affect the person that used the star. That's kind of why I kind of wanted to use it. And Gremlin could honestly screw you over, because let's say you have 3 kills, but you went Archer 10, and you're pretty stacked, all right. But the guy that got 7 kills isn't very stacked. Let's say they were a Knight X. So you lost your Archer helmet and your max Blitz armor to a Knight X that you now have their gear, and you lost all your stuff. So it could essentially screw you over if the person that has the most kills has less gear than you. So that was also some feedback that I got. I think it's pretty fair for that, but that is Gremlin 2.0, also known as Intimidation. So moving on, we have Pickpocket. So the only suggestion that I have for this star, honestly, is to make it when the user's not using their fist, alright? So I believe that it only activates when you hit them with your fist, and even so, it has like a, I don't know, 5 or 10% chance or something. I frankly don't remember, and I can't really check right now. But the chance isn't very high, but when it works, it's super effective, and it does work in deathmatch. But that's kind of why I wanted it to, to work with, your weapon in your hand, because that would make it way more effective, to be honest. But we're going to keep the chance the same. We're not going to increase the chance. Make it by saying make it a chance to activate from any hit. That just means from, you have a weapon in your hand, you're just hitting somebody, just not with your fist, obviously, not from every hit, because, it'd be a little weird if I hit somebody with a bow and then drop their weapon, But we're just going to move on. I know it says, although it says it might do this, I've tested it before and it doesn't seem to work unless I hit them with a fist, because it might already do this. I'm not sure, but I haven't seen it work, so I put it on here. But moving on, Invoker. This is just a small change. So if you guys know what Invoker is, it gives you, I believe, 7 or 8 scroll possibilities, but the star is actually broken, and you can only receive 5. You can only receive Arcane Scroll, which is a fire aspect 1 iron sword. It's honestly the best scroll in the game. There's the Healing Scroll. It heals you to full health instantaneously. There's the Poison Scroll, Smite Scroll, and Launch. And I believe those are the only 5 scrolls that you can get. I'm pretty sure that there's no more scrolls. I'm thinking really hard. I don't think so. But there's the Creeper Fountain. Or is it? It's Creeper. I think it's Creeper Fountain, TNT Rain, and I don't know if there is a Death Punch scroll that was like removed, but I'm pretty sure that there was a Death Punch scroll in this Blitz. If you used it on somebody, it gave him like permanent wither effect, and it was super rare. So I don't know if that scroll existed. I might be going insane. As I said, it's pretty late at night, so I put that on there, because I'm pretty sure that there was. I could have sworn I heard somebody say that there was, so I put it on there. So the only idea I have for this is to just change the Smite scroll to the Thunder scroll. Now that's pretty much all it is, because, Thunder, it goes along with the Lightning. Sounds a lot more menacing, and maybe make the Lightning strike more than one person. We're going to take off once, because that's pretty broken now that I think about it. But maybe make it strike more than one person, because if you use it, it just, it hits everybody, and I'm pretty sure it doesn't deal that much damage, but I'm pretty sure that the smite scroll is actually fine as is, but you know, it's an idea, so why not write it down? But moving on, we have no country for old men. Alright, so this change is pretty much nothing. A lot of newer players don't know what this Blitz Star is. So if you don't know what this Blitz Star is, it gives you a redstone repeater with 6 pellets that can pretty much insta-kill somebody. If you use all 6, it's a guaranteed kill. Um, I don't remember how much damage they do each, but if you use all 6, it's an insta-kill. So you can literally kill somebody that's like full diamond with this Blitz. It's actually pretty insane, but due to Blitz being so fast-paced, players that have never used the star won't have time to read its description and will go for a more, star that they have to use because, frankly, the only idea that I have for this is to just simply change the name simply to shotgun because that's what it is. What is this? No one's gonna know what this is. If you literally change it to shotgun, people are gonna be like, oh, it's a shotgun. Might be a little bit more used. I don't know. That's the only thing I could come up with. It's actually a really good star when people use it. Super counterable. Just melee them. Don't let them get close to you, because if somebody uses it and they use it immediately, you'll know because they'll get a kill immediately. But if they hold on to it, it can actually screw you over in the end. But you can't use them in deathmatch. So don't worry if you see somebody use this. But that's pretty much the only idea I had was just change the name. Like, we don't need to change the star ability itself. Alright, so Vampire. So this, again, changed the icon from a redstone to a gas tier, or a vampire fang, I guess in quotation marks, to make it much more noticeable, and fixing the star would also be nice. So what this star is supposed to do is give you, I believe it's regen 3 or 4, I'm not too sure. It's a really high regen level, but if you get super close to somebody, it sucks their health away and replaces it with yours. So it's like a life drain kind of thing, but the star doesn't even work. And, a lot of people just skip over it because it's a redstone. I feel like if we made it a gas tier or like a vampire fang, really OG members may know what vampires is. It gives them a vampire fang, and it's a gas tier, so that's the only resemblance that I could come up with. So just change the logo and fix the star, because I'm pretty sure if it worked, it would be insane. So that's it for the smaller stars. So let's move on to supplies. So this one, as you can see, I went through a lot of changes for this, and you guys are probably wondering, why in the world would I get a god apple? That, I don't know. When your mind just goes on and on, write down every idea you have. If you want to come up with a Blitz Star idea on your own, or you want to come up with a change on your own, don't delete an idea, don't doubt an idea, just write it down, because there's no such thing, as I mentioned earlier, probably 100 times already. I'm pretty tired, but there's no such thing as a bad idea. There's just creative ideas. So if you want to go crazy, go crazy. That's literally my recommendation for everybody. Just go crazy. So here's what I have for supplies. I probably gave you guys a couple times to read it. So the sword, bowing, and armor are all important aspects of PvP, because supplies gets you a chance to get one of 3 things. You can get a sharp 1 iron sword, a flame bow, full durability, which is the best thing, by the way, and then Prot 2 iron chestplate and Prot 2 iron leggings together, which is actually pretty nice if you go Viking. Other than that, healing and debuffs, which I didn't include debuffs because I couldn't come up with anything fair, but debuffing is a part of PvP, but healing is a huge factor in Blitz. Like, there's a lot of healing kits out there. Like, there's Scout, there's Golem, there's our beloved Paladin users, there's Baker, there's Warrior. Like, there's so many healing kits out there. Toxicologist, I think, is another one. And I believe that's all the healing kits. I believe, well, you get it. If you use a healing kit, you know what I mean. Guardian is the other one. But essentially, new items for supplies ideas. So I figured, why not have a chance to get a healing item? So I figured, since healing is an important aspect, you could get an insta health 3 or an absorption 3, not both at the same time. A lot of people, when they read this, they're like, this is too OP because you'd get both. No, you'd get one. You'd get one or the other, depending on which one they would add, of course. But Insta health 3, I believe, is 12 hearts of healing, which is pretty much a full heal, and it's drinkable. So you would have to slow down, and you can drop people with healing. If you're not stacked, like let's say you're understacked and you get insta healing, that can save you the game, but you can also drop with it. So keep that in mind. Or you can get an Absorption 3 Splash Potion. I'm not too sure if it should be drinkable or not, but again, Absorption 3 is 8 hearts of absorption, but it will only last for 15 seconds. So that way you can't, regen to double health or full health, use the potion, and have 2 minutes of absorption. No, you can only use this for 15 seconds. I figured that that's pretty fair, since, it could tank you the game. It could tank that fight that you need to win the game, and frankly, I think that's pretty fair. Of course, maybe we could bump it down to 12 or 10 seconds or something. I changed it to getting 3 gaps instead of 4, because 4 gaps, that's a bit too much. But 3 gaps is perfectly fine, in my opinion. You can get 3 gaps in Blitz. I have played a couple games recently where I have gotten 3 gaps before PvP, or before kit period. So yeah, like getting 3 gaps is completely possible, and you can drop people with gaps. So getting 3 gaps if you're understacked can win you the game. Like if you're super understacked, you can out heal your opponent. So I didn't want to make it more than 4 gaps though, because that's a little ridiculous, because that's like 20 hearts of healing. All right, that's pretty broken. So I figured 3 would be enough, and I removed the enchanted golden apple, as I said, even with nerfed effects, because as I mentioned, sometimes your mind goes crazy, and so I just removed that just to be honest. But and I also mentioned other balances may be needed, since it is a concept, healing. I didn't want to include any debuffs, but honestly, I think this is the one I'm most proud of right here, since I actually use supplies quite a bit. Supplies is one of my main Blitz stars outside of Assassin. I use supplies and Nocturne sometimes. Other than that, I really don't use any other star. So I'm really happy with this one. I feel like that this one kind of fits me, since sometimes I'm kind of low on healing, and I end up losing because the opponent that I have, is slightly less stacked than me, but has more healing. So that's kind of why I'm really happy with this one right here. It might need a little bit more changing, but we're gonna move on. So wow, it's already 11:30. So lockdown. Alright, this is used as a joke. So if you guys use lockdown, people just use this to troll. So lockdown is a troll star. Alright, so what it does is that it locks all the chest crafting tables and enchanting tables, I believe. Yeah, it pretty much locks everything. But an interesting buff would be to lock the player's inventory, as in nobody can access their inventory, and maybe locking the hotbar, either or both, I don't care. So preventing items from being dropped or added once in the slot, because this right here is an important aspect of PvP right here. If you have something in the wrong slot, it might be uncomfortable for some people. Like, I like having my rod in slot 9, alright? If I don't have a rod in slot 9, it feels really uncomfortable for me to actually press the 8 button on my keyboard. So I figured a lot of people that, have hotkeys to certain things, this could affect it majorly. Or let's say you're fighting somebody uses lockdown, and they drop all their potions, they go into your inventory, can't use them, because you can't access your inventory, like, your inventory's locked. Like, I think that's pretty OP right there, but that's why I put applicable to star user, since lockdown actually affects everybody, including the star user. But right here, I think that's a pretty massive buff to lockdown right there. Like, that's gonna trigger some people right there if they can't use their potions. Like, sometimes some people get so incredibly stacked they can't use all their potions, and they stick them in their inventory. So honestly, and they can't drop items either. So I figured, that's even more ridiculous, because let's say you have 6 speed potions, and you set them in your inventory, but you drink them all, you can't drop the glass bottles. So that would also trigger some people. That's kind of the only idea I had for it, but it's very useful for countering stacked people, as they may not be able to access new armor, potions, and weapons if they're not in the hotbar, as well as an item might be in the wrong slot. As I already mentioned, that super uncomfortable if your item is not in the slot you want it to be in. Serious buff for it, but that's actually all the ideas I have for the Blitz stars. Like, I didn't really have any ideas for Nuke or some other star. Like, I believe Nuke was one of the only stars I didn't have an idea for, because 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Lucky Charm is 9, 14. Yeah, there's a couple more stars that I didn't actually do, so I couldn't actually come up with all of them. So if you guys have ideas for stars that I didn't actually go over, let me know. I will gladly add them to this document here. I'm going to try and send this off, but I wanted to get y'all's attention. That's why I'm making this video. If you guys made this video, wow, it's like 30 minutes. I've already done this for like 30 minutes. Oh my god. Well, if you guys made it this far, this is kind of why I am making this, is to get y'all's attention. So we're going to try and speed this up here. So Famine sets all opponents to 0 hunger bars and gives hunger 1 for 30 seconds. I think this is pretty quirky, to be honest, because you won't be able to sprint. People cannot run away from this Blitz because they'll have to stop and eat. So if you're a baker, you have to stop and eat. Now, I guess you could put cake on the ground, but guess what? You know, you're going to get crit in the back if you set a cake down and try to eat it. You know, if you try to rot yourself away, your opponent is going to catch up to you because you can't sprint. Like, that's pretty much all this star does. I feel like it could be pretty effective, because if you try to eat, you know, you won't be able to attack, and if you rod and try to rod your opponent away, you won't be able to don't be able to catch up eventually. So that's pretty much all there is to that star. It's pretty a small star, so we're just gonna move on. All right, so Saving Grace. This star, suggested by many people, was Team Revive. Second Chance was the Team Revision star. It revives your teammate, but I didn't like the idea of having a team's exclusive star. Like, that just felt kind of weird if, you know, one star is only available for one mode. So I came up with a solo, since, you know, I'm in solo mode. So I came up with an idea that seems fit for the star. So when a player uses the star, they receive nothing. No items, nothing. But the ability of the star will be, when the star is used, the player receives a second chance, in quotation mark. The player loses all their health, so if they die, you know, if they were supposed to die, if they get killed by a player, instead of dying, the player will be restored to full health and will receive 10 to 15, unsure of how long I should, you know, make it for, but 10 to 15 seconds of resistance 10. So they will take no damage at all. So they cannot take damage, but in counter, they will also get weakness 10 for the same time, so they cannot deal damage. So essentially, you are given 15 or 10 to 15 seconds of invincibility, but you also can't deal damage. So it gives that player a chance to run away or get themselves, you know, to, alright, let's fight this guy for a second time. You know, I think it's a pretty good idea. So it gives the player some time to run and catch their bearings before going in on that fight again, because sometimes, you know, if you run for a bit, you can turn around and combo that person to oblivion. That's happened to me before. People that run and they turn and combo me, that's pretty annoying. So that could honestly, I think this is pretty good right here, especially for solo mode. And I put Activatal in BDM question mark because if a player uses it 30 seconds, like they can use all stars within 30 seconds of deathmatch, I'm not too sure if it should be able to work in deathmatch. That's why I put a question mark. I don't think it should, but I'll let them decide. So random. Alright, you guys are ready for this wild idea? Alright, so random. So as simple as it states, it activates a random blood star ability. Like that's it. You have no idea what star you're gonna get, but that's all in the fun. And it's gonna show up as this. So if you use the star, it's gonna say you used the random blitz, and then it's gonna say what blitz it picked. So honestly, that could be used as an achievement, because you could get like assassin or something really boring, but you could also get, you know, something pretty quirky. And you know, that's just sometimes what we need. We just need fun stuff like this, because, you know, you can't get mad at me if I get assassin from this because it's random. So that's pretty much all it is. But I figured it'd be kind of cool. All right. Oh my god, hold on. I gotta get something to drink here. 35 minutes, dude. We're pushing it. All right, so Eruption. This was again suggested to me by somebody, but this would be kind of like a reverse nuke. So instead of creating a hole in the ground, what happens is that small holes will start to form all over the arena and will look like tiny nuke explosions, because your nuke is just one big explosion in the map of the player's choosing. So it will look like tiny nuke explosions and will start to fill with lava, making it look like mini volcanoes are erupting. So it's kind of like a weirder one, but like it can kill the user if you're not paying attention, because fighting with a bunch of holes in the ground with lava in them, that's super annoying. And it can be a huge pain to deal with, especially when the player actually falls in the hole, because what will happen is that the hole will form and there won't be lava in there at first, but then once it's fully formed, there will be lava in there, and it's going to be really, really weird PvP. It's more of like a joke star, but it was suggested to me, and honestly, I kind of like it. So I'm going to include it in there. So I really do like this. It's really creative and super annoying to fight against if that happened. But moving on, we have Death or Borderline. This was mine right here. So Borderline was an idea I came up with, somebody else's idea. So I don't remember whose idea it was, but it sends everybody straight to DM or starts the DM timer, so you could have like like a 9-player DM. Like that's gonna be annoying. But my idea for this star will be that when it activates, it summons the deathmatch border in the arena, and like that's all it does. So it's pretty much like swag move, but it forces players into middle. Like it doesn't just send them middle, it forces player to middle, because if you go past the deathmatch wall, you begin to take damage. So you have to go to middle eventually. I don't know how fast the border will move because some maps are really big, but I figured that this would be kind of creative and kind of aggressive too, because if you're going to win the game, it forces you to come to middle. Like you can't run and drag the game on. Like this will kill you. You can escape from swag move, but you cannot escape this. It will kill you if you go past the border, which that's kind of why I feel like adding this. And it's it's unique, it's creative, and honestly I think it could work, to be honest. I mean, it might need a little bit more of a nerf or something like that, but I'm pretty happy with it. And all of a sudden, I don't know if it's just because I've been talking for almost 40 minutes, but I'm starting to not feel good. Alright, so clean sweep. We are almost there. So this star would be a passive star, but it's a huge advantage over everyone. Alright, so this is like a reverse Vault Hunter. All the star does is removes every enchantment from every weapon, armor, and bows from everybody. I'm not too sure if I should include the person that used the star as well, since it could be used strategically, but if you have an armor X, full leather now. Super strong sword. Like if somebody's got that diamond sword sharp 1 they managed to get, clean diamond sword, still OP. But let's just say they have a sharp 1, a sharp 2 gold sword. So let's say you're fighting me. I'm a pigman. I have a regular gold sword now. Really good for getting necromancers or rangers out of the game, because rangers rely on punch 2, and if they now have a clean bow and clean armor, they're not going to be pretty stacked, and you can just bow them back. So it's going to be an interesting star, as it can be used strategically, because clean diamond gear is not that strong compared to like let's say you're fighting a meat master, you're going to be able to kill him now. So that's pretty much why I came up with this one right here. Again, I wrote the word concept since it's an idea. Could use some changing, but I'm pretty happy with it. So yeah, that's this one right here. I'm sorry guys, it's almost midnight and I'm tired as hell. So alright, moving on, we have Blizzard or Avalanche. So this was somebody suggested it to me. I don't remember who. That's why it says suggested by unknown. But it was an Acid Rain VMAP. So what it does is that if you guys have ever played the game Arcade, there's a game called Avalanche, and what it does is that it spawns snowballs, and if you don't find cover, it kills you. So I was thinking we could do something a little bit like that. It's a little quirky, it's a little weird, you'll have time to find, I figured it would be pretty cool, since, you could, have 10 seconds to find shelter, and then it will begin to snow, and then it starts to damage you. Like, it's just an idea. We wouldn't add this, we would just replace this with Acid Rain, because why not? And it was suggested to me, but all water would freeze. I'm not too sure if that's too OP, but Uh, again, somebody suggested it to me, and I kind of like it. You know, it's pretty unique. So I decided to go ahead and add that in there. So now we have I don't even know how to say this, to be honest. I had to look this up, but this was called Conjurer, I believe. I think that's how you say it. So essentially, this was a an idea come up with by this guy. I don't know how to say his name, but this star, when activated, will conjure. Is that how you? I'm pretty sure that's how you say it. It all mobs turn against their masters and follow the one who used the star. So if you have a necromancer that spawned all their mobs, those mobs will turn on the necromancer and attack them. So pretty cool. And again, really useful for blazes, slimy slimes, pigman, you know, creeper tamers, you know. But creeper tamer mobs are pretty useless as they are, but completely RNG. Not only this, but the user will also receive 5 random mob eggs. Completely RNG, but getting, let's say you get a chicken, a baby zombie, you could get like a gas, you know, like how cool would that be if you just had a gas flying around the Blitz arena? That would be like awesome, in my opinion. An endermite and an iron golem that attacks people. Honestly, I think that'd be pretty awesome, but there is a chance that you could get 5 passive mobs, you know, you could get just useless mobs, but there's also a chance, you know, they would have a less chance of spawning, of course, that you could get really, really, really OP gear, or really, really OP mobs. Like, I think it'd be fun, honestly. It would just troll people. It's more like a troll star. That's why I like it. So, I really liked his idea, but if no mobs respawn, are spawned, the user will only receive the 5 random mob eggs. So that's another good thing, is that they can still use the star even if no mobs are spawned. All right, so we're almost done here. Bounty. This one was actually suggested by me, and it's based around the coin chest, because the coin chest is the most useless thing in the entire game, because you can literally get 500 coins in 2 kills. All right. Some people can even get it in 1 if they have coin boosters, but so essentially, when activated, this star turns every chest into a coin chest. Alright, every chest. So doesn't matter where you are in the map, every chest turns into a coin chest. Once looted, it will turn into a regular chest, and will range from 50 coins being the most common, and 1,000 coins, which will be rare, because again, bear with me here. Each time a coin chest is opened, the player doesn't receive the coins, but a bounty, in quotation marks, will be placed on them, and the only way to claim that bounty is to kill the person. So that means in deathmatch, the last players will have a lot of, you know, money or coins that they will be able to receive at the end of the game if they win. So it's going to put a lot of tensity on people. So players that get a kill will have the player's bounty coins added to their bounty. So if you have, let's say, 500 coins, kill somebody with 400 bounty, you now have 900. So that's pretty much how it works. So essentially, here is this. So it will say I used bounty hunter. Every single time a player reaches a 1,000 coin bounty milestone, it will be announced in the chat. Also, when the star is used, star user has a 2,000 coin bounty immediately placed on their head, so people sweats are going to want to go for you. That's kind of why I wanted to make it fair. And every single time I reach 1,000 coins, it would say in the chat. So only the winner will receive the coins, so the star user is not guaranteed to get the coins. And note number, or the coin chest will be quite low. That way players aren't getting, you know, 10k plus coin games. Like, I actually had to revamp that because I didn't think of that at first, but I revamped that. So that's why the coin chests are kind of low. You'll get like a couple extra 1,000 coins. Like, you can get 6,000 coins per game, which is still a lot. But this star probably ain't going to be used very often, because what if you lose and you just gave a random 6,000 free coins? You know, that can be kind of infuriating, isn't it? Especially if that person's a sweat. So hey, I kind of like it. It's pretty creative. I came up with this. I don't know how, but that is pretty much this. And then if a game in happens, like for all the people that like going Meat Master on Alice, and you use the star, you don't get the bonus. So, hey man, it kind of sucks, you know, but only one player can receive the bonus. So if game in happens, 2 people are alive, nobody gets it. But that is a bounty, and it's one of the most creative Blitz stars I think I've came up with so far. And I'm honestly really happy with it, and I honestly want to add added it into the game. Like I really want this right here added. So we're gonna move on, and this is I believe the third to last one. Yeah, we're almost done. All right, so we have this one right here. I don't even know how to say that, but that's whatever this is. So this is created by me. I actually had to look this up, but there's no potion Blitz Star, so I figured that this Blitz Star would have to do with debuffs and buffs. So when activated, the user will receive 4 or 5, 6, maybe unsure to balancing. Again, I'm going to let the HPC, if they see this, do their own balancing. They'll receive random powerful potions that will either debuff or buff the player, and I was presuming tier 3 potions. That way it's pretty strong for, you know, debuffs, and the buffs would be actually tier 2. That way it's not too over the top. So it would be threatening, but high risk, high reward, is you could get super powerful potions. You know, you could get strength, regen 2, speed 2, nerf strength 2, of course, and other powerful potions at high tiers, mostly guaranteeing you a kill. Or you could get fire resistance, night vision, invisibility, jump boost would be removed, water breathing, and perhaps even a chance to get a nothing or like an awkward potion. There's that chance of getting nothing. So there is that high risk, high reward. And see, there are no potion related stars. So, you know, you could get weakness 3, slowness 3, that would be pretty good. Blindness 3, what else? Poison 3, wither 3. That's, you know, that's already OP because, you know, we love fighting Reapers. But here's what my note says, is that the potions will be tier 3 and last for 5 seconds if they are debuffs, and the buffs will last for 7 seconds. So it gives the star user an extra 2-second buff. So that's kind of my idea here. I'm really happy with this. I think it's called Apothecary now that I think about it, but we're going to move on. So this one, Tidal Wave, this was a concept. I really like this because somebody came up with this, and I'm really happy with this. So this star is kind of unique and would be a total pain. So whoever came up with this, you are a genius. Alright, so when activated, the user will spawn in the middle of a 15 by 15 1 block deep square lake, in quotation marks, that will dry up after 10 seconds, and all players within the area will now be in water, and the water blocks will not move. So they're essentially stuck in 1 block deep water, so you kind of got to use it carefully. When the lake is formed, a wave, or like an extra block tall of water, will travel to the middle. Like, you know when you splash a rock into water, it makes waves going out? This will be like waves coming in. So what it does is that it brings the people close to you, and it will slow them down, and it also when the star is used, the player that used the star will get Depth Strider 3 on the boots they are wearing. So I think that's pretty creative. That's a huge counter to Diver right there. Like, you could be an Armorer 10, you used the star, you got Depth Strider 3 on your boots now. And it could also be that one, hey, I'm gonna screw you over kind of star, and since you only get it for 10 seconds, and then the water disappears. I think it's honestly pretty creative. Whoever came up with this, I don't remember who it was. I really like it. So I decided to add it, and we're on the last one. Oh my god, it's almost midnight. I'm sorry if I, like, you know, stammered a bit or skipped a bit. I tried to hurry up, but we're going as fast as I can, and I might not even upload this, you know, on the 16th. This might be on the 17th or 18th at this rate, but so Barbarian. So a lot of people are asking for a star that gives people strength. So I came up with this star that says this star gives the user speed 1 and strength 2 for 10 seconds. But, which is, okay, so strength 2 nerfed is still massive damage. Alright, that's pretty good. But to counter this, the player will receive, and I kind of crossed it out because I was unsure. I gave it 3 options. The player will receive 50% more damage. You know, so if you hit the player that has strength, you know, they actually take 50% more damage. So their armor reduction is now less. So you still could kill them by chance. There's still a chance to kill them, especially if you bow them. Option 2, the player receives true damage, which might be a little bit too broken, especially if you're good at rodding. You can just rod the guy and just combo him. You can kill him in like 3 hits. 2 hits, even if they're like really stacked, so I might cross this one off. Or option 3 is that they will receive a weapon that will deal true damage only. So they'll receive a stone axe that deals true damage that has limited uses. So those are kind of my 3 ideas for this, because a lot of people want a strength um, blitz that doesn't, actually damage the person, because Warlock 10 is kind of useless. Like, the pots are pretty useless, so that's kind of where I got this idea off of. Again, pick your favorite idea. I'm honestly going to go with the 50% more damage. That way it's tankable, but it's still counterable, because, a person could just rod you and, you can tank it, but they also won't be able to tank it. And that is actually all the Blitzstar ideas that I have. So hopefully you guys liked it, but we're going to go ahead and finish off with the OG. If you guys are really old fans, about 7 or 8 months ago in January 2020, I came up with the Treasure Hunter kit. So essentially, I recommend go watching that video if you'd like. There's the link right there. We're not going to watch it, but essentially, I'm going to let you guys read it here. So what it is that it's essentially Speleologist 2.0 at level 10. We're just going to scroll down, but that way you guys can see what it gets at level 10. We're not going to worry about all the other variations, but at level 10, it would get a gold pickaxe with Sharp 3, Unbreaking 10, and Fortune 3. Fortune 3 does nothing, by the way, and the weapon will not break. So Fortune 3 is just like a quirk, because, as I mentioned in that video a long time ago, they're digging up treasure, they find fortune. I'm pretty sure that is the exact quote that I said. They would get a gold helmet with Prot 2, Unbreaking 3, Thorns 1. I could remove the Thorns to keep Flora special. We have leather chestplate, Prot 1, gold leggings, Prot 2. Again, can remove the Thorns. The leather boots, Prot 1. 15 baked potatoes, because you really don't see any baked potatoes in Blitz. So I figured, why not have a quirky food item? Cobweb times 5 and a fishing rod. So cobwebs were removed from Blitz, but honestly, I want to see them back. So I really would like to see cobwebs back in Blitz, but you could only get them from this kit. Since, Arachnologist P2 is apparently going to get cave spiders, why not give this kit cobwebs? Not a lot of people will have this kit, because in the video I mentioned that you have to find the Blitzstar 1,000 times, which I've done, but not a lot of people have. So that's kind of why I think it's fair. And then Prestige 2, the leather armor would increase to P2. You would get 3 more cobwebs and 5 more baked potatoes. But a lot of people didn't like that idea. Alright, they didn't like the cobwebs, so very recently, about a week ago, I came up with a 2.0. So this is Treasure Hunter 2.0, where you guys can read it if you guys like right here. I'm going to scroll down slowly. But people didn't like the cobwebs, so I figured, why not change it to minor fatigue? Make it like a debuff kind of kit. So everything will stay the same right here, but instead of cobwebs, you get minor fatigue, splash potions, and drinkable haste potions. Since minor fatigue, alright, this is contradicting because a lot of people say this doesn't affect it, but if minor fatigue slows down attack hits, this could be a pretty OP kit. And if haste increases hit speed, this could also be a really good kit. So I figured, minor fatigue could slow people down, because they won't be able to hit you as fast, so they won't be able to swing as fast, and then you would be able to hit really, really fast for 10 seconds if you drink it. And then, Prestige 2, same thing, except you get an extra minor fatigue pot, and then 2 haste potions, and then 20 baked potatoes. So that is honestly pretty much it. That is my document, and it's almost midnight, and it's almost been an hour doing this, so hey man, I'm pretty tired. If you made it this far, let me know which idea was your favorite. I know some of you guys probably didn't sit through all 55 minutes. If you did, I'm really happy for you. I worked really hard on this document. Please don't try to comment saying what you think about the ideas if you didn't watch the whole video. Please don't leave comments like saying that how they're good or bad. 30 seconds of me uploading this. Alright, please. Let's not do that. Alright, so that's pretty much it for the video. it's midnight now, and I'm pretty tired. So thank you guys for watching. If you made it this far, and I'm not gonna put gameplay over this, but if you guys like this, I'll try to get a gameplay video out soon. I've been kind of overwhelmed in homework, but I'll get a video out soon, guys, I promise. So, as I mentioned, thank you guys for watching. Leave a like, please. I worked really hard. I'm gonna try and get to the HPC, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.